What started as a deeply disturbing arrest story out of Kentucky took an even more shocking turn just days later. A worship pastor, someone trusted with the spiritual lives of an entire congregation, was arrested on multiple felony SA charges involving a minor. And then, just 72 hours after walking out of jail on bond, he was dead. On the evening of February 16, 2026, Kentucky State Police arrested 40-year-old David A. Rodgers of Utica, Kentucky. Rodgers was the worship pastor at Pleasant Grove Baptist Church, a position he had held since 2008 when he was also ordained into gospel ministry. According to KSP, the investigation started around the beginning of January 2026 after a complaint was filed. But here's where it gets even more disturbing. The alleged incidents didn't start in January. Investigators say they began approximately 10 to 11 years ago and continued for about 4 to 5 years. This alleged SA reportedly started when the victim was a minor. The charges Rodgers faced were serious. We're talking third-degree grape, second-degree assault, involving a position of authority, first-degree SA, procuring or promoting the use of a minor by electronic means, and possession of material depicting the sensual performance of a minor who is not yet a teen. KSP confirmed that the position of special trust referenced in the charges was directly tied to Rodgers' role as a worship leader. He allegedly used that position, that sacred, trusted role in a church, to gain access to and exploit a young one. Now, to the church's credit, Pleasant Grove Baptist did not drag their feet on this. On the same evening the arrest was made, our church leadership was notified of the allegations. They released an official statement acknowledging the situation, expressing grief, and, effective immediately, terminating Rodgers and banning him from all church-sponsored functions. The statement posted on the church website read, "On the evening of February 16, 2026, church leadership was made aware of SA allegations against David Rodgers, who was serving as worship pastor at Pleasant Grove Baptist Church. We are deeply saddened and troubled by these allegations. The church takes all allegations of SA extremely serious, and we ask that you join us in prayerfully waiting for information regarding this ongoing legal matter. We understand that for SA survivors, this may initiate feelings of pain and past trauma. Please know we are praying for you and your continued healing. Pleasant Grove has always taken the physical, spiritual, and emotional safety of those on our campus, especially our children, with the utmost concern, and that continues to remain of primary importance. Effective immediately, the staff member has been terminated and prohibited from participating in church-sponsored functions. We ask that you join with us in prayer as we strive for God's guidance as we seek truth, accountability, and discernment." Church family, any updates on this situation or to this official statement will be communicated here or in person. For a church in that kind of shock, that was a measured and appropriate response. No cover-up, no, let's wait and see. He was gone immediately. Here's where things get complicated. Rodgers was booked into the Daviess County Detention Center on February 16th. The very next day, February 17th, he posted a $75,000 cash bond and walked out. Now, the jail has confirmed that during his time inside, Rodgers was placed on a unaliving himself watch. Jail triage services flagged him as high risk based on the nature of his charges, even though he reportedly did not express suicidal ideation himself during intake. So he was on suicide watch, and then he bonded out. The public reaction to this was significant. People wanted to know, how does someone on suicide watch get released on a $75,000 bond for charges this serious? The jailer addressed this directly.
With the exception of capital offenses, it's a constitutional right that every inmate has a bond. Bond is set, and then the public, family members can post that.
The judge who set the bond, Daviess District Judge Brian Quattrochi, also responded to the criticism. He explained that bond decisions are based on information from pretrial services, including risk scores, criminal history, and likelihood to reoffend. Rodgers reportedly received the lowest possible pretrial risk scores, had 0 prior criminal history, and, critically, the judge says he was never informed of any suicide risk at the time bond was set. That last part is a major gap in communication. The jail knew, the judge didn't, and nobody connected those dots before he walked out the door. Thursday morning, February 20th, just days after his arrest, deputies with the Daviess County Sheriff's Office were called to a reported shooting in the 7700 block of Todd Bottoms Road near Utica at around 9:54 a.m. When they arrived, they found a deceased male in the yard of a residence. By Friday, the Daviess County Coroner's Office officially identified the man as David A. Rodgers. The preliminary investigation concluded the death was the result of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. An arraignment had been scheduled for March 18th. It will never happen. Okay, so let's talk about this because multiple conversations are happening here and they all matter. First, the victim, or potentially victims. Because these allegations span 4 to 5 years and involve a young one who was allegedly SA'd by someone in a position of spiritual authority. That young one, now an adult, came forward. That took immense courage. And now, the man accused of harming them will never face trial. There will be no courtroom accountability, no verdict, no sentence. For a survivor, that is a devastating outcome, and our hearts have to go there first. Like second, the systemic failure. We have a man who was flagged as a suicide risk while in custody, and that information never made it to the judge setting his bond. That's a communication breakdown with life or death consequences. Whether you feel sympathy for Rodgers or not, the real issue is that this gap in the system could affect any case. Reforms need to be considered. When someone is placed on suicide watch, that information should be part of the bond determination. Full stop. Third, and this is the uncomfortable part, the conversation about David Rodgers himself. He was accused of horrific crimes against a young one, and he is now dead. Some people will feel relief. Some people will feel that justice was denied. Some will feel grief. All of those reactions are human. But what cannot happen is for his death to minimize or erase what the victim experienced. The story doesn't end here. The survivor's healing continues regardless of what happened Thursday morning. And fourth, this is yet another reminder that predators do not have a look. They don't have a type. They hold positions of trust. They lead worship. They are ordained. They are beloved in their communities. And that is exactly what makes them dangerous. This is a heartbreaking story from start to finish. A child was allegedly SA'd for years by someone who was supposed to shepherd their faith. A community is reeling. A church is left to pick up the pieces. And a trial that might have brought some measure of closure will never happen. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear how you're processing this story. And as always, we cover the stories that matter, even when they're hard.